I've held these two world records for 25 or more years now. They've been unbroken since those days. They might be silly world records, but to me, there's something very important. I've done something that nobody else in the world is possibly able to do. And that, for me, is fantastic. That's what I did it for, and that's what I've enjoyed about it. Walking in my father's before me, the Mrs. Waterman comes some months before this made a confident of my mother, Mrs. Bridget, with the burden of her own feelings, and Mrs. Secretary carried it, having lived with the boat, standing my mother, sitting by the devil and the woman, the whole affair was just us. But the evil and disorder of the war, what kind of nature soever, and the fall of Adam, of my uncle Toby's inclusive, find one way and the other, same unruly appetite. Europe was just bringing my father's hypothesis, some temper with my uncle Toby entered the room with marks of infinite benevolence and forgiveness in his looks, my father's eloquence, rekindled against the passion, as he was not very nice with the choice of words when he was rising soon, my uncle Toby was seated by the fire and filled his pipe before the broke in.
There you go, my loves. Welcome to Monday Night Live, and tonight's live stream is dedicated to a chap called Steve Woody, or Astro to some, Woodmore, who very sadly passed away at 5:20 this morning. He was the world's fastest talker, double Guinness Book of World Records holder. He was a nice man. He was a very brave and courageous man, and he was a good man, and he was my friend, and I will miss him. So, I hope your Monday, you're on the wonk again, aren't you, my loves? I hope your Monday has been better than mine. And it's a while since we've spoken, isn't it? I hope you had a good weekend. Now then, bear with, because I need to find you now, don't I? Ah, there we are. Okay. Oh, hi Sarah. Glad you're with us. Evening, Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy, thank you so much. Oh, God, have I got to do the dance? Thank you, thank you. Thank you very, very, very much. I'm a happy teapot. Thank you very, very, very much. I didn't think anything would bring a smile to my face tonight, but that has. Thank you, Jimmy. Good evening, Steve. Good evening, Matt. Hello, Bad Books. Mustard. Hello, mate. You okay? How's the neck? I'm genuinely a bit stiff. How's yours? We're going to have a chatty one tonight, my love. I'm not really in the mood for just sitting here rattling away at you. So I'm going to, unusually for me, I'm going to keep a close eye on the comments, and we're just going to have a bit of a chat, because what I really need tonight, more than anything else, is just a bit of company. So I hope you'll bear with me. And be okay with this not being one of my more dynamic live streams. Could be worse, darlings. Could be a bedtime story, couldn't it? So, there we are. Now then. Hey up, people of the underground reptilian overlords. I mean interweb. Oh dear. Good evening, Dr. Roger Sniffmaster. Dear me. Just been watching Dip Your Car. I wish I had a spray shop. Evening, KKC. Greetings of the 11 PM variety, indeed. Wondering if you could paint your car in curry sauce and lacquer it. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Adverts again. There shouldn't be any adverts. I haven't monetized this. I stopped doing that for all of the reasons I outlined at the time. Unless I pressed the wrong button. I'm pretty sure I didn't. I haven't got any adverts. Yes, you were on the wonk, but I shall unwonk you. Oh, good. Yeah, no ads. It is fast, isn't it? Absolutely balmy. Mustard. I remember in the pub the first time that I met Steve in real life, and it's always been one of my party tricks that I can read aloud text. Even when I've never seen it before, I can do it very quickly. Something that I shared with Clive James, who also had that as a weird ability. And so I remember being in the pub with Steve, and you know, arrogant bastard that I am, I said, "Oh, I can do what you do." He said, "All right, yeah." I said, "Yeah, it's always been a thing ever since I was a kid." And he said, "Oh, fair enough." And of course, at this point in time, he was unwell. Not as unwell as he became, obviously, but he was unwell. And one of the effects of his illness was his salivary glands weren't working properly. So he wasn't able to articulate as he did in his world record setting days, as you can imagine, with a dry mouth. And I challenged him, what a prick I am. Only in a fun, friendly way, not in a "you're crap, I can do better." But, you know, I genuinely thought that I couldn't imagine anybody could speak quicker than I could. So he sort of ummed and ahed and said, "Oh, I can't do it." And then eventually had a sip of drink, or a slurp of drink. And we each took a text. And he said, "I'm going to give you a chance." He said, "I'm going to turn mine upside down. You read yours the right way up, I'll turn mine upside down." Which he did, and we had the challenge, and obviously, he beat me by a bloody country mile. And the one I just played to you was the only one that I could get, and that wasn't actually his record-breaking text, his record-breaking speech. And it's not just gibberish. They check it very, very carefully, and they slow it down or whatever, and they ensure that every word has been properly vocalized. And if any of you are remotely interested in his story, if you search on YouTube for Steve Woodmore, World's Fastest Talker, you should be able to find a documentary about him. It's only a short documentary, and it's well worth a watch. Nerfpack A380. Hey, Saucy Boaty, sorry to hear that you've been rear-ended. Hope you're not too sore, my lovely. I'm a little stiff and not in a good way. Oh, bless you. Thank you, everybody, sending thoughts. Yes, he did do a funny sketch for the Wiper debate, bless him. I mean, he was really quite ill then. And he still did it for me. He had the most tremendous sense of humour. When Trace watches this, I don't know what she's doing tonight. I imagine she's probably doing her own stream as normal, again in some form of tribute. But Trace would tell you, as would anybody else who knew him, he was a very, very, very funny man. You would have loved him, Mustard. He also had a very cutting humour, a very male humour. He was a kind man, but oh my God, he was funny. He really was funny. So yeah. Oh, you're such a show-off, Mustard. I'm always stiff. Oh, sorry, I see what you mean. I thought you were showing off there for a moment, my dear chap. But yeah, Mustard and I, we are the same age, but not for much longer. Can't say too much. Said too much already. But yeah, we are of an age where things start to go different colours and go stiff and not work as they once did, and drop off and all of that sort of stuff. Have you had your first grey pube yet, Mustard? I'm dreading that. And how's the scrotum? Any signs of it becoming pendulous as yet? That's something that we didn't discuss over lunch. We discussed many things over lunch today. That will be a video that. Oh, I'm not reading that out, GPS. But that's nice. It's nice that you have that response to your wife, and I'm sure your wife is absolutely lovely. Although, of course, it would be entirely inappropriate for anybody else to have the same effect. I'm digging myself a hole here. Stop digging. Stop digging. And yeah, the other subject tonight, as referred to by the lovely Lurpak A380, I do love that name, is that, Mustard and I managed to get rear-ended today in the new car in Wetleg von Titty Biscuits. We were stupid enough to stop at a red light, and an enormous great truck basically just drove into our rear. So all in all, it's not been the absolutely best day. Hey ho. Okay, Casey. It is your day off. Did you hurt yourself in the car today? No, not really. Little bit of neck pain. But oh right, no ads. I thought the intro was an ad the way it started. You were worried it was a bedtime story. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that for you. Knitted slippers. Oh my gosh. Reading aloud text isn't a party trick anymore. Not since text-to-speech programs. Yeah, but doing it quickly. Andrew Buttigieg. Hello, Boaty and everyone. My other account is playing up. I think his other account is either Spotty. I think that's you. If I've got that wrong, please tell me, and I will apologise profusely. Try not to feel sad. Duct tape fixes everything. Apparently these knitted slippers are genuinely wonderful, and there is a picture of a pair waiting in my inbox apparently. So where's my wine? My wine is here. You're absolutely correct, Sarah. I do need a glass after my day. This is my first glass, and cheers and good health to the lot of you. Talk to me. Tell me about your weekend. Tell me about your Monday. How's it been? What have you had to eat? Apparently, I see from a comment, apparently Simon, Project MGTF, one of our community channels, was live streaming yesterday, and I knew nothing about this, and I still haven't seen it. An impromptu live stream, joining the clan, so I'd very much like to hear about that. Noticed a split on my rear wiper, so ordered new ones all round. Possibility of Boaty does mechanics video. There is a video. I'm not sure if it's on mine or Mustard's of me wrestling with a wiper blade. They are, such an easy thing. Always proves to be so bloody difficult. And when you finally do it, it's like it was so easy, and it was the way it should have been at the first attempt. And you know what you're doing. But wiper blades are bastards. They don't fit on purpose. They humiliate you. They make it look as if you don't know what you're doing, when you do, it's very clear. All of my cars have what I would call a standard fitting. It's not difficult. You depress the little clip, pull the wiper out, insert the new wiper, push it home, click, right? Easy as that, except it never, ever, 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 ever is. Wiper blades are like shower dials and toaster dials that just purposely misbehave, don't act as they should, just to make your life bloody miserable. We've all had the shower thing where, it's cold, and then you move it a tenth of a micrometer, and you're boiling hot and bloody scalding yourself. You could cook potatoes. You'd have to put a plug in the shower, or, kind of plug up the plug with quite an excessive amount of pubic hair. If you were to shear your entire body, you could block the plug hole with pubic hair. The level of water would rise in the shower, and if you had a shower tray about that deep, say, then you could easily put a potato in it, which would only be that deep, and you could cook that potato. Could take a while, but you could keep the hot water flowing from the shower because the pubic hair wouldn't make an absolutely tight seal, so there would be some seepage, and you could just keep it topped up with hot water to cook the potato. Although showers are jolly expensive things, so it wouldn't be a very cost-effective way of cooking a potato. If you ever want to shit yourself, then, and this was something else that we spoke about over lunch, then simply get yourself a meter thing, an electronic, internet-enabled, I don't know what you call them, smart meter, that's it. Get yourself an electric smart meter. And I mean a smart meter that monitors your electric. They're all electric. They all run on electricity. Bizarrely, even the ones that measure gas run on electricity. How weird is that? Get yourself one of them and just have your house running normally and put it on pence per hour and watch your house ticking along at 6, 7, 8 pence per hour. And you can have a play with turning a light off or two and watch it drop a penny and get a sense of satisfaction. Then put the kettle on. You will immediately shit yourself, absolutely guaranteed. At which point you will have to change your underwear, possibly your trousers or skirt, if you're a female lady of a female type personage, and you will have to put your soiled underwear in the washing machine and turn the washing machine on. At which point you will glance at the meter and immediately shit yourself again. And there's not a great deal you can do about that because the washing machine's already in use. You can't stop it mid-cycle because the door won't open for about 17 years. And you've just got a soiled pair of underpants what are you going to do with them? Now, if you're really, really rich, I suppose you could just throw them away. You could put them in a nappy bag or a dog poo bag or a bag that your takeaway came in. Maybe one of those small takeaway bags if you've just had like 2 containers, curry and rice or sweet and sour chicken and rice. And you could just tie the bag up and throw your pants away. But that's not an option if you're on a limited budget like me. I have got 4 pairs of pants in the world, 3 pairs of wearing pants and 1 pair of sex pants. And I barely get by with those. If I were to lose a pair, wouldn't be that easy. So you're going to be left with that dilemma. But the point is, turn the shower on. Now, you're going to need a partner for this. I never knew how much my shower cost because I was always in my shower when the shower was on. And funnily enough, my smart meter for the electricity is over there by the olive oil. It's not in my shower. So I never knew how much it cost until Chinese Madam arrived. Now, previous occupants of Windy Bottom were not fans of a shower. Boo liked a bath. And I don't know what Bernard did. I never saw her in the bathroom. I never saw any of the others in the bathroom, actually. I know Boo liked a bath, but anyway, the point is that I never saw the meter during the shower until Chinese Madam came. And I was bound to see it then because Chinese Madam had about 27 showers per day. And when I saw the cost of that bloody shower, that was when I really began to, I thought I'd shit myself before then, but nothing compared to that moment. And it was compounded, my loves, by the knowledge at that point of how many bloody showers she took. I've never known anybody have so many showers. And of course, she insisted that I had the same number. Wake up, have a shower. Eat, have a shower. Go to the toilet, have a shower. Go into work, have a shower. Home from work, have a shower. God above. Oh, should have put her in the garden and turned the hose on her. And the other weird thing she did was everything in the house had to be aired very frequently. Not just clothes and not just bedclothes, everything. Every movable item in the cottage had to be taken out into the garden. She tied things to trees, for Christ's sake, and everything had to have a jolly good dose of fresh air. And it was like a daily thing. Every day something else would be taken outside to be, I can't remember the word she used, but to be aired. Dear me. Anyway, don't freeze your wine tonight. I will try not to. What have I missed? Did you have an accident, Boaty? Yeah, got rear-ended in the new car. Simone is with us. Hello. I saw Steve, said Matt, when Tracy did his show. He streamed from his hospital ward. Did he? Bloody hell, that's typical. Yeah, he was certainly on Facebook right up until the bloody end. God, it's funny. I mentioned something in the video today talking about what he died of. And he kind of died of everything. He had everything. Because whatever he had, he just bloody fought it off and said, I'm not dying of this. Well, I know I'm supposed to die of this, but I'm bloody well not going to. And Death had to kind of say, well, okay, well, I'll add this to the mix. And he'd say, nah, fuck it, still not doing it. Well, have some of this as well. And he ended up having just about everything. And he still battled like a bloody trooper. It's only a couple of days ago. He was in what I, and I'm sure many other people, thought was going to be it, the end. You know, on a ventilator, completely out of it, not able to breathe alone, not with it, off in the land of Nod. And you're sort of getting ready for the news, yeah, he slipped away. And that news didn't come. We got news that, right, he's off the ventilator, he's responding to stimuli, he's squeezing my hand, he's breathing on his own. And I'm thinking, fucking hell, this guy really is immortal. But sadly, there we are. Let's see. Oh dear. Another one hidden. Grey pubes, if I could see them, I would tell you. Oh dear. Pingu Concord has got a device for that he posted in the Facebook group. A device for men like me who, when viewed in profile, look like a capital D. One of those things like that so that you can see your penis that you haven't seen for 23 years. My scrotum is fine, says Matt, but the bruise on my left knee from its pendulous motion is bloody killing me. Oh, hello. Lurpak A380 says, happy birthday for tomorrow, Captain Mustard. Kiss, kiss. Oh, do they know something we don't, my lovelies? Another one held for review. Yeah, afraid so. It was Titty Biscuit. Managed to get more bits of the caravan sorted out today is a question coming from Simon. Oh, I was right about Ivor Spotty Botty, and his smokos is over. So yeah, he's off back to work. Is the car a write-off, says GPS? No, not by a long chalk. Structurally, oh, what was that? Structurally, it's absolutely fine. It's just a little bit of cosmetic damage. So could be a hell of a lot worse. Boot lid and the panel beneath the boot lid took the brunt of the large vehicle. Apparently, says Simone, I am the best presenter on YouTube. Go me. That refers to a comment in this afternoon's entirely impromptu live stream from the caravan. And I pronounced caravan then in a very northern way, with the emphasis on the van rather than the cara. That's a northern thing, and I have been in the north today, and so that was my little nod to my little foray up into the land of the north. What? What was I talking about? Hello. Oh, yeah. And somebody pointed out where Mustard and I go wrong in terms of our presentation, and very helpfully pointed out how we could become adequate presenters, and went on to say that Simone is the best presenter on YouTube, and then followed that up by backing up his claim with some strong factual evidence. And that well and truly put both Mustard and I in our place. And we will now, of course, be taking any tips we can from Simone and trying our level best to become better presenters. Now, this is from somebody who doesn't watch my live streams because they are too late, but tuned in this afternoon and was immediately very disappointed. But in fairness, they've been disappointed by Mustard's live streams for considerably longer. They would probably have been disappointed by my live streams well before now, but they haven't watched them, so the disappointment is more recent than with Mustard, which technically makes me a better presenter than Mustard, or at least a slightly less disappointing one. But yep, congratulations to Simone, the best presenter on YouTube, and that's official. Oh, he set it as private, silly Simon, did he? 3 live streams, 3. Why did you do 3? Why did you cut it into 3? Why didn't you just do 1 that was 3 times as long? Or is it because you asked it up a la Mustard? Did you? Oh, well, setting it to private isn't a terribly good idea. I will catch up with your live streams, Simon, and I'm sure I will enjoy them very much, even though you are not, as nobody is, as good a YouTube presenter as Simone. Hooked on Classics, one of our community channels. People watched them, so they must have seen them. Yeah. Oh, nice streams yesterday, lovely Simon, says Lurpaco380. We want more. Right. Why? God. No, I'm not reading. Oh, well. Wiper blades, the clitoris of the automobile. Take from that what you will. We all replace wiper arms these days. Wiper blades are worse to replace. Well, I'm not sure that we all do that, but it's certainly true that a wiper arm is easier to replace than a wiper blade. Even I can replace a wiper arm, and I didn't even have to go on YouTube and find out how to do it. I have replaced 2 wiper arms in my life, and both were completely successful operations. Speak for yourself, the Cortina wiper blades are a different box of frogs. Doesn't sound that bad then, just a scratch. No, it's not just a scratch, it's a goodly crease and a goodly dent. Right. Hang on, right, I've got no idea what's going on here. I think people are talking. We seem to have crossed wires. No idea what that's about. New undercrackers are cheaper than washing them unless you wash them in the shower. That's a good tip. A good hotel tip, if you have to spend a lot of times in hotels, is to wash your clothes in the shower, and then when you have to dry them quite quickly, then when it's your underpair or your underpants or your vest or whatever it happens to be, right, roll out the hotel towel on your bed or any other flat surface. Place the wet clothes stretched out on the towel. then roll the towel up as tightly as possible, and then keep doing that with the towel. And they will come out almost dry. And you can just hang them on, if there isn't a radiator in the room, you can hang them on one of the interior lights. That's one of my tips from my racing days, when we had to try and, when we were in dodgy hotels and there was no hotel laundry, and we had to wash our stuff overnight. I had to throw up in a beanie whilst overtaking a lorry on the M1, then throw the beanie out of the window when returning to the inside lane. There's so much there that I disapprove of, Matt, to be honest with you. Having to throw up, I sympathise. But why overtake a lorry? Why not at least remain in the inside lane or pull over to the hard shoulder and then be sick? And I don't approve of littering. Although, you know, I can kind of understand why you wouldn't be keen to keep the beanie within the car. Should I turn my gaming server off, running at 400 watts 24/7? Lol, never. Well, frankly, GPS, yes, you should. Not because of the cost, just because you should go out and have a nice walk instead, and look at the countryside, and look at the birds, and commune with the animals, and get some good fresh air. I don't get this gaming thing. Maybe it's because I'm old. Now, don't get me wrong. I liked a good game of Scramble on the Commodore 64 as much as the next man. But this obsessive Nicky's son next door doesn't leave the house for months on end. He just sits glued to his gaming devices, and people build whole rooms for them. Go out, build a den. When I was a kid, God, here we go. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't turn into your parents, but bollocks to it. When I was a kid, we ran out first thing with jam sandwiches wrapped in brown paper, and we came home when it was dark. Huh. Now then. Hello. Couldn't you just look before, have a shower, and then look after? Do you not understand how time works? Why would I do that, Simon? Why would I even think about doing that? It never occurred to me that a shower was a particularly expensive thing. Never crossed my mind until I happened to be cooking something while Chinese madam was having a 19th shower of the bloody day. The way I see it as GPS is money is worth nothing when you're dead. You might as well spend it. Actually, you're wrong. Money has the same value after you're dead as it does before. It might not have any value to you personally, but the money still has value. And those who are still left when you've coughed it, they can still spend it. So that was the pedant in me speaking. But the more general notion I agree with. Life is for living, and that doesn't just apply to money, pretty much applies to everything. And it's not a nice thing to think about, but look at it this way. As far as any of us are aware, you only get one go on this little spinning ball. And who can make any sense of it? Who can make any sense of it? We don't know why we're born. We don't know why we die. We don't know what our purpose is if we have one. So, that being the case, working on the basis that it is what it is, might as well enjoy it. Might as well enjoy it. Because you had no choice about being here, and you've got no choice about we're all going to have to go at some point. Why not make the best of it? Enjoy it. And imagine if you knew, it's a terribly morbid subject, but imagine if you knew you only had 6 months. You'd make the best of every day, I imagine. And we should be doing that anyway. every day is a bloody blessing because you never know what's going to happen. So, enjoy it, mate. Don't begrudge any day. Whatever you have to do in the day, take some pleasure from it somewhere. Even if it's only an hour at the end of the day before you go to bed, do something that brings you a little bit of joy. Every day should have some sort of a highlight in it. Something that, if it was your last, then when you're toddling up to heaven, you could look back and say, well, yeah, that wasn't the worst day. I did this. Something like that, anyway. Buy a cat litter tray, Boaty. And when you shit yourself, position the tray strategically to catch it. Well, that assumes that you've got prior knowledge of the fact that you're about to shit yourself and can lower your underdoings. And if you had sufficient time and control to do that, you could just go to the toilet. So you wouldn't really need the litter tray at all. Roger Boaty is with us. He was watching the lunchtime video. KKC asks, if you podgered Chinese madam every time in the shower, no wonder you were worn out. Did she tie you to a tree to air? Asks Matt. To all intents and purposes, I had to have a shower every time I had a cigarette. For God's sake. You should see what happens to our smart meter when our electric boiler kicks in. It's like the VTEC kick. Rear-ended in the MGF? No, glad you're okay. Yeah, rear-ended in the MGF. Don't you pay your bills monthly, Boaty? No, I don't, Jimmy. Another one held review. Error, try again. I can't unhide this message, my loves. I do apologise. But I can read it to you, and it says tits. I'll never have a smart meter, says JPS. Bloody good job by the sound of it. Another one held for review. If he doesn't find one of my jokes amusing, soon I'll just send a dick pic. Please don't. You'll have to watch to see why there were 3. Oh, hello. We're getting an answer to a question asked in our lunchtime stream. ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. Right, I'm kind of none the wiser. I understand what all of those words mean individually, but thrown together, not a bloody clue. Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. I don't know, is that a posh word for a fart? Well, not word, but collection of words. I don't know, not a clue. Simone is going to tell us about her day, and apparently it wasn't bad, and she bought an angle grinder, as you do. Will Wetleg be an insurance job? Sounds like there should be a claim. No, it's not going to be KKC because the guy made a mistake. He didn't do it on purpose. It's his own truck. He's not a driver for a big nameless company. He's like a one-man band. It's his own truck, it's his own money, and it's his own insurance money. Now, if we put an insurance claim in, then I know for an absolute fact, because I know how insurance companies work, I've been through the process, there would be an automatic injury claim, and we would both be paid out for whiplash, which, okay, we probably had in a very minor way, but not in the way that means somebody else needs to take their trousers and pants down for it. It would be a massive hit on the insurance company. His insurance would go up, and Mustard wasn't going to do that, and I wasn't going to do that. We weren't hurt, really. The damage is, as far as I can tell, purely cosmetic. Don't get me wrong, I wish it hadn't happened, but there's not going to be some overblown insurance claim. In fact, the insurance companies won't be involved at all. We dealt with it like gentlemen. He owned up, he apologised. We went to a lay-by, we made sure that everything was reasonably okay, and we shook hands. And then we went and had lunch, and he went about his day. He was already having a bad day. His kid had been rushed into hospital that morning. Maybe that's why he made the mistake. He didn't drive into us per se, as in failed to stop. We were fully stationary at a red light. He, apparently, I didn't know this because I was a passenger, must have obviously had the rear view mirror. And apparently he was stationary, and then I don't know what he was thinking, but he says his foot slipped off the brake. Presumably it was an automatic truck, and the truck just drove into the back of us. It was enough to dent and crease the bodywork. It wasn't enough to cause any genuinely substantial damage, and it wasn't enough to cause us genuine, distressing or permanent injury. Got a little bit of a stiff neck. I think Mustard has got a little bit of a stiff neck. It might be a little bit stiffer tomorrow. Neither of us were inclined to go down the insurance claim route. I don't know. I don't approve of it. Now, maybe, if he was a driver for a multinational company or something, then maybe, because that would kind of be a victimless thing, if you like. But a one-man band who made a mistake when he's having a piss poor day already, yeah, wasn't going to do that. That's not me, and it's not Mustard, and it's, we both immediately agreed on that. So there you go. Oh, you do go out every day with the dog for a walk in the woods. Good, fair play to you. I take it back then. Game away. Oh, okay. Right. Well, I still don't think you had to throw up in the beanie. If you're getting a phone call every 5 minutes off the boss, then tell him not to call you when you're driving, and, just pull over and vomit anyway. Anyway, it's all in the past now. Commodore 64, I thought you would be a Sinclair man. I bet you would look good in a C5. I have had a C5, and I was definitely a Commodore 64, which, to my mind, was more of a serious computer, whereas the Sinclair Spectrum 16 or 48K was like a game computer. And I'll tell you what I based that on. It had a crap keyboard. It had a stupid keyboard with those crappy, pressy, rubbery keys, and you couldn't touch type on it. A Commodore 64 had a proper keyboard, and you could touch type. Admittedly, the Spectrum was better than the ZX80 or 81, which had a sensor pressy type keyboard with no actual keys at all. But the Commodore was a proper keyboard, and that was what I was used to, because I learnt my computer studies on a BBC B. Now, who remembers one of those? Sorry to hear the new edition MG has been damaged already. Sod's law. Yeah, isn't it just? But, hey ho. In the grand scheme of things, considering what else happened today, I'm not going to feel too hard done by. Could have been a hell of a lot worse. I'd rather it hadn't happened, but could have been worse. Try and avoid nationwide crash repairs. I will be avoiding all repairs. I had a Spectrum 48K with a rubber keyboard, and I agree with getting out in the countryside, good for the soul. Underscore, still unpaid, strike. Well, yeah, he is still unpaid, but then also, can I point out, I am still unpaid. I still haven't received a single penny from YouTube, and I won't until the end of this month. So if he's going on strike, so am I. Oh, this is interesting. YouTube is not allowing me to show comments that it thinks are really bad. I think that's what's going on here. Wise words, matey. Well, there we are. You definitely need to make the most of every day, says Richard. Oh, I'm so sorry, mate. I lost my wife suddenly 18 months ago. She was only 42. It's no age, is it? Here one day, gone the next. I'm so sorry, mate. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that this is turning into a bit of a maudlin one tonight, my loves. It's just the way things are. The way things are, I'm afraid. Not every day will be permanent sunshine, but just goes to show, even on a day like today, there were high points. I had a fabulous drive from here to Project Nigel. I was a bit sad. I was very sad about Steve, obviously. But that does put things in perspective. And he couldn't enjoy today, sadly, but I very much could. And, you know, back to the idea of making the most of being alive. And it was a fabulous drive in the Longbridge Lamborghini, as they're now being called by me anyway, and by Mustard. We agree on that. It was a stunning drive, absolutely fabulous. I had the roof down for a while. Oh, and we had the roof down when we were re-ended. And lunch was good, and I enjoyed spending time with Mustard, and we had a laugh, and we met one of our viewers, which is always nice. So there have been highlights, and of course this is a highlight, so there we are. I started with a 1K ZX81. Blimey. The ZX81. I had one but couldn't be bothered typing the games up. Norks. Why are we all saying words for breasts? Oh, hello. Autonomous sensory meridian response is a tingling sensation that usually begins on the scalp and moves down the back of the neck and upper spine. Well, every day's a school day. I wrote my own. I could write anything in BASIC. I used to write in BASIC and in COBOL. Was anyone in Mossley about 6 days ago in a blue MGTF? I seen you. Well, we'll find out. Mossley. Why do I know Mossley? Oh, that's where Wendy is, isn't it? Oh, well, it's not a surprise to see an MGTF in Mossley, is it? It was probably going to or from Wendy's. No problem. The captain will fix it. Get him to try and make a good match. Another one held for review. Oh, I'm allowed to open that one. Boobs. Have I missed a comment? Are we coming out with words for boobs again? I'm sure we did this before. Is it time to start the collection bucket for tomorrow night's Mustard Moonies? I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me, Lurpak A380. Captain Mustard has guaranteed that each and every time somebody sends him a £10 super chat or super sticker in his live stream tomorrow night, he will fully bare his skinny white bottom. Although he is claiming, not definitively, but he is claiming that there is a possibility that his bottom is not white. He is claiming that he has the residuals of a tan. But to prove that he had the residuals of a tan, he pulled his sock down and showed his white ankle compared to his relatively brown leg. So my question would be, if he has a brown bottom, then why was he sunbathing with no pants but with his shoes and socks on? You weirdo, Mustard. So yeah, so that is happening. It is a guaranteed thing in Mustard's live stream tomorrow night. For every £10 subscription, every £10 super thing he gets, he's going to bare his ass. And I can guarantee you that he's going to get at least one, because I'll send it. Oh, dear me. Oh. I did everything you did when rear-ended last month, says KKC. Still cost me hundreds, insurance next time. Very admirable of you both. Yeah. it's just a personal thing. It's not something we did to be admirable. It was just what we felt was the right thing to do. The guy was a stand-up guy. He didn't bugger about. His first words were a fulsome apology. He didn't run off. He was willing to spend as much time as possible, and he was perfectly happy to go down an insurance route if that was the preference. So, yeah, it was just what it's just what we thought was the right thing to do, and so that's what we did. Kind of bigger fish to fry today for me and for him with his kid in hospital. And I believe that. I don't believe that was a line or anything. He was genuinely upset. You know, he was talking about his dad. He was apologising, and he was trying to let us know how genuinely sorry he was. And he actually said, you know, the day I've had, when that actually happened and I realised what had happened, I genuinely felt suicidal. And you could tell that he was absolutely 100% sincere. And when a bloke is a bloke and just fronts up like that, what are you going to do? Say, yeah, I'm going to let the insurance company go to town, take your trousers and pants down, and, expect a quadrupled insurance premium, because it'll be business insurance and everything, when it's a one-man, no, just wasn't going down that route. Maybe we're silly. We could have had a 2 or 3 grand payout each, plus the car would have been repaired to within an inch of its life or written off, and I would have got a full payout on it. Could have bought the salvage and just kept driving it as it is, or could have done all that, didn't. There you go. It wouldn't have felt right, and I wouldn't have enjoyed the money. I would have felt guilty over it. Again, if it was a company, especially if it was a company I didn't like Sainsbury's, then that might have been different. But no, under these particular circumstances, wasn't going to happen. Yeah, we had a BBC computer, says Mustard. Well, same age, aren't we, mate? Who remembers the game Repton? I don't remember any games on a BBC A or B. Are there any animal related car stories? I had a pheasant hit the box part of a 7.5 ton truck that left a permanent mark on its neck and head on the van. Oh dear. BBC B, I used the BBC A. Was that an apple? I think the BBC B came after the BBC A. Crap keyboard equals cheaper equals more accessible to the public, says Simon. My school was using BBC computers when I started comp. Yeah, so was mine. And I did the first O-level in computer studies. I took that as an option, and it was the very first year that it was available. O-levels, see? O-levels. You youngsters won't know what one of those is. O stands for ordinary. That's what that's what O-level stands for. And A-level stands for advanced. And I've got a green thing. Somebody has done something lovely, and it's Richard Mann, who has, bless you, thank you so much, Richard. He has become a channel member. Not just any old member, top tier member, straight to the top of the tree with him. And I'm really, really grateful. I'm particularly grateful, Richard, because you are, my dear chap, you are my 8th subscriber. No, you're not. You're my 8th channel member. That's what you are. And that is important. And I will explain why. You can have, on your YouTube channel, you can have a section where it shows a random selection of your actual channel members, which is a nice thing to have, showing that, that bit of support. But you only get that when you have a minimum of 8 subscribers. And now, thanks to Richard and of course all of you other lovely people who are supporting me and supporting the channel by taking a channel membership, which are available for, I was going to say, a very reasonable sum. And compared to what other channels ask for, it is a reasonable sum, but you could equally argue that it's an unreasonable sum because it is an amount of money and times are hard, which means that I appreciate it all the more. But yeah, you can become a channel member from just £1.99, and you know, in return you get anything you want, really. Just come along to me and say, hello, I'm a channel member, I would like this, and I will give it to you, or do it for you, or I'll do anything basically. But no, genuinely really appreciate that, so thank you very, very much indeed. You've got no idea. Well, Mustard has. In fact, he's got more of an idea than me, but the rest of you, you've got no idea how exciting it is when you're blathering away and something flashes up on your little comment feed, because that means somebody has done something lovely. And it's not just about the money, although that's nice when I eventually get it. It's, you get a nice warm feeling because you think, well, you know, and it's the same, what, you don't have to do that to give the warm feeling. You know, when you just make a nice comment or say, I really enjoyed that, or, you know, thank you, I look forward to these, anything like that. I get lots of really nice warm feelings and I'm really grateful for them. But that is a particularly wonderful warm feeling that I'm particularly grateful for. Doesn't mean that I'm any less grateful for any of the others. So I'm in another hole, But it's a really lovely thing and I'm really grateful. So there you are. Another one, health review, and this time it's Simon. Oh no, I've been allowed to show your tits, Simon. I am allowed to show your tits, and your tits are now visible. I once hit a sparrow on the, oh God above. I don't want to read this out. I like birds. I once hit a sparrow on the M1. It went over the central reservation and hit another car and bounced back over the central reservation into another car. Motorway tennis was born. Oh dear. Playing Commander, oh right, okay. My mate had a Commodore 64, we'd put a cassette in it, go for a bike ride and return an hour later hoping the game had loaded. Yeah, that's how it used to be. If there are any youngsters watching this, the way that you used to load something onto your computer, you had a tape recorder. No, I'm not joking. You had a tape recorder that was plugged into your computer and games came on a cassette. Exactly the same as an audio cassette, except it had data on it. And you would put it in the tape thing and press play. And you go, and if you were lucky, an hour later, Manic Miner would have loaded, although often it wouldn't have, and you had to rewind the tape to the beginning and start all over again. Fun balloons, yes, lovely. I saw the lovely blue MGF or TF when I left your house last week, Boaty. Oh, I went back via Chesterfield and the M1, very wise. Another one held for review. Mustard does porn tomorrow night. Oh, I think that will get his channel taken down if he reveals a crack as well. Well, we'll find out, won't we? I think, yeah. Matt's saying that Mustard's bottom isn't white because he shat himself when he saw the truck hurtling towards him in the rearview mirror. Yeah, but he could have a shower as long as he wasn't looking at the smart meter while he was doing it. Oh God, yeah, remember them as well, bad books. We had school tricky chaps letters. We had school BBCBs and the older PETs and CBMs with built-in screens. Yeah, I remember them. Who remembers Chuckle on the BBC computer? Not I. Simone will be back shortly. I had a bloke reverse into me at a red light. That takes some explaining to insurance companies. Oh, was that one of those insurance scams? That's when you need doings, isn't it? That's when you need what's it? Dash cam. Next thing I'll know is a claim from the truck driver coming in for damage to his truck. I'm keeping all of the footage, but that's not going to happen. There was no damage to his truck. It barely even broke the dirt on his truck, and it was very dirty. Left a lot of dirt all over poor old Wetleg's arse. Right, my guy did all of that. Sent him the quotes for a cheap repair, ignored all phone calls, texts, etc. I ended up paying. Well, there are some rotters about, I guess. Sorry that happened to you, mate. Could you not have put a claim in with your insurance company subsequently? I was talking to Nikki, my neighbour, when I got back. I miss her actually. We used to have some very, very neighbourly chats. And since she got a boyfriend type person, and said boyfriend type person moved in, and he is of the jealous variety. They split up once because he gave her a bollocking for making one of the workmen a cup of tea and being too friendly. And she was telling me about this, and I kind of said, oh, for fuck's sake, he needs to grow up. But yeah, we don't talk much anymore, which is a shame, and I presume it's because Mr. Boyfriend type chap doesn't like it. So there you are. But obviously maybe he wasn't about tonight, because we had a bit of a chat. And she was telling me she's never put an insurance claim in for a car accident. She's always just said, look, I'll get it repaired as cheaply as possible and just pay for the repair. And they've all done it. But she said if they hadn't, I would have put an insurance claim in. Oh, that's nice. Simon is welcoming Richard to the channel members. We'll have to give you a special area or something. You know, a special play area with jelly and ice cream and Mr. Kipling's French fancies. We had 10 BBC computers to use in a class of 20 something at school. That rings a bell. I passed O-level computer studies in 1985 with a grade A. Where did it all go wrong? Was it 85? Is that when I did my O-levels? Hang on. I did my O-levels in... I did them in 87. So that means I started them in 85. But you passed O-level computer studies in 85, and I thought it wasn't available until 87. Or maybe that was just my school. Maybe it was only available at my school in 87, and it was available at other schools beforehand. Which school did you go to, KKC? Was it a school that we had fights with? We used to fight with Lee's High School and Abbey... Was it just Abbey High School, the one in town, or was it Abbey something else? We definitely used to fight with the Lees because they were like the nearest to us. And they had a swimming pool, which we didn't. No, they can't. Not for £1.99. Simone's back. Oh, you didn't aim for the sparrow. Well, that's a relief. Yeah, if the game didn't load, we went back out on the bikes. That's about right. Somebody else did a computer studies O-level, got a grade C in 1986. Again, before me. So, obviously, either my school was late to the party with computer studies O-levels, or I'm misremembering something. I got an A, for what it's worth, and that's not much. In fact, That probably counts for all of my education. I I got 4 A's at A level when that actually meant something. What good did it do me? Obviously none. I'm still living in poverty. There's a semi-interesting subject. What O levels or A levels did you do? I did O level. God, can I remember? I did English language, English literature, maths, physics, French, computer studies, geography, economics. It was economics, wasn't it? You could do economics or commerce, but I think commerce was the GCSE, economics was the A level. Can't remember the others. Can't remember. But I can remember my A levels. My A levels were English, economics, sociology, and psychology. And before anybody says it, yeah, you're quite right. Sociology A level doesn't count. Although bizarrely, it's bits that I remember from that more than I remember from others. Maybe because I thought they were absolute pants. For some reason, I've been entirely unable to forget Wilmot and Young's Family and Kinship in East London. No idea why. And some stuff about masturbation and the Kinsey report or whatever it was. Oh, don't freeze your wine. I won't. Don't freeze your wine. It was a guy. Oh dear. Oh yeah, that's quite handy sometimes, isn't it? It was a guy who was late for a wedding and was clearly in the middle of an argument with his wife when he reversed into me, so it wasn't an insurance scammer. Fortunately, my height and calm demeanour instantly calmed him down. Yeah, sometimes height can be a blessing. If you didn't know, if you haven't seen the video in which Matt _ my self-proclaimed unpaid it's not self-proclaimed that he's unpaid. That is an indisputable fact, as indeed am I. And, you know, we're all unpaid, I think, here, apart from Mustard and Simone. They have suckled at the financial teat of Google. There's an image for you. And on the subject of images, Simone says, I don't fancy seeing Mustard's undercrackers. Did he say neighbourly or naively? Oh, another one, health review. How splendid. Right. It's Matt again talking about the chap who was calmed down by his calm demeanour and height. And he followed that up to say, thank fuck, because I'm a pussy, and he'd probably have kicked my ass if he'd stayed angry. The playground could be the members' area for the meetups. Oh, yeah, the playground. For those who don't know, Simon obviously knows this. Simon has been here. And Matt will know this. Matt has been here. And Mustard will know this. Mustard has been here. But you've got Windy Bum. You've all seen it on the videos. And then you've got... Why am I telling you? I'm sure you've seen it. I've done a video of me on the swings. You've got the village hall. And then you've got a playground that is really only used by me as far as I can tell. Little Miss used to enjoy it when she was living here. But yeah. We could make that playground the official playground for channel members, and they get first go on the swings. And that would be good. And there's a roundabout there that you could go on. I believe that will accommodate 4 people, and I will push you for no extra fee. I'll also push you on the swings. I don't mind. And there is a slide that you can enjoy very much. And if you like, I will polish it with lard prior to your having a go, so you can achieve extra speed. Right, where did I get to? O-level was a qualification offered from 1951 till the introduction of the General Certificate of Secondary Education, GCSE, in 86. Yeah, I knew that, GPS. I was talking specifically about a computer studies O-level. Definitely 85 for computer studies, says KKC. Born in 69. Right, I was born in 71, so that 2 years difference makes sense. I went to school in Hales Owen, moved out to Redditch a bit later. Mine was the first year for computer O-level at my school in Hartlepool, says Bradford. Lurpak A380 says, how much to show us your rack? How much to show us your rack, Boaty? God almighty. Well, I strongly suspect that most people would pay good money not to see my rack. But if you want to see my moves, then, oh, I don't know. That is a genuinely difficult question to answer. Now I know how Mustard feels when I put him on the spot over lunch, which was in the caravan today and was very nice, actually. Now, shortly, when the weather starts to get warmer, we will be earnestly setting to work about the caravan and making it ready for our, or at least my, overnight habitation. And it was a very pleasant place to be today, the caravan. I enjoyed lunch very much. It got chilly in the end, especially when we had to open the door to let some more internets in. But when we first went in there with lunch, it had been very nicely warmed from the sun. How much to show you my moves? Well, I mean, you know, if I charged you a shilling, you'd want 4p halfpenny change, really, for what they're genuinely worth. But well, I'll match Mustard's tenner. Yeah, he's willing to show you his arse for a tenner and lose his channel. I'll get my moves out for a tenner. Why not? Pinky and Perky or Jeffrey and I. Oh no, I'm doing that again, and that really is a very pleasurable experience. Ah, very nice. I enjoyed that. Nice break in the evening. I have no O or A levels, says Simone, and it hasn't held you back. Well, Clarkson didn't do very well either, and look at him. He's as rich as Croesus. What did he get for A level? He tweets it every year. Something like an E and 2 U's or something, or an F and 2 U's. He did shite anyway. I started A-level psychology and sociology, says Simon, quite when I split up with my girlfriend who did the same classes. Doesn't make sense. Oh, was that supposed to be quit by any chance? And you auto-corrected to quite. That would make more sense. I started A-level psychology and sociology, quit when I split up with my girlfriend who did the same classes. You were precocious, weren't you, having a girlfriend at that age? Why couldn't you wait till 22 like the rest of us? Which then started me getting into music and bands. I was in a band at school, and we were called Stylish Duvet. And I wrote one song, but I didn't know how to write a song. So I could only write the lyrics, I couldn't write the music. And I only wrote 2 lines of lyrics. And I can safely say that the entire band was never in the same place at the same time. And we never did anything together whatsoever. We certainly never performed or wrote or did anything at all. So I don't know if that really counts as a band, but there you are. I don't care. Oh, we're getting some answers. Excellent. Are exams easier today than the 80s, etc.? I think so, but my 20-year-old daughter disagrees. Well, she wouldn't know, would she? She didn't experience them. Obviously, exams were harder in the 1980s. Absolutely no question. Because it was all on the day, it wasn't coursework based, and there was no cheating. You weren't allowed to take a calculator into your maths exam. You weren't allowed to take your texts into the English exam. You actually had to do the work. Although I got a grade A English literature A level, sorry, English A level. It wasn't split, it was O levels, it was split into Lit and Lang. I got a grade A level, and I didn't read at least 2 of the texts because I didn't like them. And the 2 I didn't read were Richard II and John Fowles, the French lieutenant's woman. Didn't fancy either of them, and I still managed to get an A by sheer bullshit. Who would have thought it? I remember for my mock, I was summoned by the wonderful Mrs. Gopsill, who very recently passed away. She was amazing, and she summoned me. She supported me a hell of a lot. She was the reason I started writing seriously, because she submitted a short story that I wrote to a competition, and it won, and it got published, and I got paid, and that gave me the confidence to write more stuff. But she summoned me about a mock A level or a practice A level or something. And I had the sort of, do you remember the old see me that you got off your teachers? So I had marked on my paper A or A plus, see me. And so I saw her and she said, Jason, I said, yes, yes, Miss Gopsill, because I was very respectful. She said, you haven't read this book, have you? And I said, well, does it matter? She said, yes. I said, I got an A. How could I have improved on that? Said, that's not the point. I said, well, it kind of is. If I can get the best mark available without reading the book, then clearly reading the book would be a pointless waste of time. The other study text was by, why can't I remember who wrote it? I've got a mental block on the name. One of you guys will know. But it was Schindler's Ark. Thomas Canale? I want to say Thomas Canale. And of course it was filmed as Schindler's List, but the book was Schindler's Ark. Now that I did read, and not only did I read it, but I was interested enough to do a lot of research on it. And research in those days was difficult. You had to go into a big city, into a massive library, because there was no internet. But I did a lot of research on old Oskar Schindler and Eamon Goeth, and I wrote what today would be an well, it was controversial then. Today would be, in the days of social media, it would be even more controversial. But I wrote an essay where I completely turned the situation on its head, and I showed Eamon Goeth as the victim and Schindler as the bad boy. And I won't bore you with all of the details on it, but it was basically along the lines of that, you know, if you were in Nazi Germany at the time, or anywhere else, when you're in effectively a dictatorship situation, and the general sway is X, and if you don't go with X, if you try and go with Y, then you and or your family are going to be killed. What are you most likely to do? you're probably most likely to do X, I think. Are you not? Or am I wrong? Not everybody, I suppose. And also, you know, if you've got a really charismatic dictator, then you might well be effectively brainwashed into believing what you're told and into believing that you're doing the right thing. You know, that sort of thing does happen. So, you know, to my mind, there's fairly strong mitigation for somebody going down that route if you were literally in that circumstance. Whereas the research that I did on Schindler showed that although you might have done that one good thing, there were reasons why he did that one good thing, and they weren't entirely altruistic. And outside of that, by all accounts, the man was a bit of a bastard. Now, I'm not sure how much I really believe that and how much I wrote it either to be controversial or not to be boring, or probably to try and prove a debating point. Because the one thing I loved when I was at school was debating. We didn't really do it at school, but I was sent to a debating society, and I loved nothing more than being given an argument that I had to prove that was, in my mind, clearly wrong, because that required a fair bit of mental agility and acuity in order to summon up a convincing argument. And I loved that challenge. I still do. And purely for my own amusement, I will often argue that black is white, or that something that I fundamentally don't believe in is absolutely true, just for shits and giggles, really. You know, it's wrong, but I do it. Oh, right, where did I get to? Hang on. That's where we got to, isn't it? Bad books did English language and lit, maths, geography, CDT, art, photography, physics, and failed French. O-levels were proper exams, says Bad Books. Only coursework for arty stuff. Quite right. I still feel guilty for just turning up, says Matt. Liz did 6 O-levels, 1 GCSE, and the one I'm most proud of, 5 times grade U at mathematics. He asked for it. I did at least phone before knocking. He did say he didn't mind visitors. I don't mind visitors, but not not unannounced in advance. The reason being, time is really precious for me at the moment, and every day is kind of mapped out. And I've got my little routines, and I need to kind of plan in advance if I'm going to take a lump out of a day to do something else. I need to kind of factor it in. And if it just comes at me unexpected, it throws all of my, going back to the anxiety and depression thing, and, you know, we talk about structure and whatnot. And I structure my days partly because of that, but partly now simply through necessities of time constraints and whatnot. And there are never quite enough hours in the day. And if you throw in something like that throws me all off kilter and I'm not prepared for it, it makes me all bum swizzled. So visitors are very, very welcome, but some advance notice would be wonderful. When the socials kick in, when the weather turns, it'll all be a bit easier, because every Sunday will be a social Sunday, either here or somewhere else, and we all know the score. You can just rock up. I'll be fully prepared. I'll be dressed. I'll have pants on. The toilet will be cleaned. I'll have provisions laid in, and it will all be good. He should feel guilty for answering his door with no trousers on. I wonder if Beards and Bangers has bought another car today. Almost certainly, I would say, almost certainly. I mean, it's kind of a given. It's a rare day when Rob doesn't buy another car. We should have a sweepstake. Mustard! Sweepstake! That was the word I couldn't remember earlier. Sweepstake. That's what I wanted. Thank you to Me for remembering that word. I'm very grateful to myself. We should have a sweepstake on just how many cars Rob's going to end up with. Who has got the most cars amongst us? Oh, I know that. It's Stephen S. Paul, isn't it? He's got about 1,946. But Rob's catching up with him. Oh, I forgot to say, said KKC, horseradish mustard is fantastic, isn't it? Isn't it? It's a revelation. Again, I'm going to do this again because you all need to try it. I've wasted 54 years waiting for it. Well, we didn't know it was a thing, KKC. It's called Tewkesbury mustard, or it has been up until now. And who would know what Tewkesbury mustard is? You wouldn't know it was mustard mixed with horseradish, but Sainsbury's have started doing it. It's £1.15 for a pot, and it's a mixture of Dijon mustard, which is amazing, and horseradish, which is amazing. And combine the two, fucking... You've got to have some. You've got to try it. And I don't know how long it's been out. Now, I love a condiments aisle. I'm always looking in the condiments aisle. And when I bought this, that was the first time that I have ever seen it. And I'm in that condiment aisle almost on a daily basis. And I do always look. I'm always looking to see if there's a new sriracha ketchup come out, because they've stopped doing the one that I had before, and I really, really loved. Really super spicy ketchup. And I've never seen that horseradish mustard before. So I'm convinced that it's a new thing. Maybe Tewkesbury mustard have had a thing lifted on their name or something. No, they can't have, because it's not called Tewkesbury mustard. And they sell Dijon mustard, but they're obviously still not allowed to call that Tewkesbury mustard. Or maybe they think that horseradish mustard is a better name because it tells you what it actually is. But I'm glad you enjoyed it, KKC, on my recommendation, and I recommend that everybody else tries it as well. All joking aside, Boaty made me feel very welcome, and he made me feel very at ease whilst losing my YouTube cherry. I was a bit it turned out fine, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. I've just got visions now happening every day with somebody or other turning up. So yeah, let's stick to advance notice only. No unexpected visits where I told Mustard why I was really freaked out, Matt. I don't want to say it on a live stream. Oh, sod it, I have no secrets from you lot, right? This is genuinely the first thing that went through my mind, Matt, right? I'm telling you the truth, and everybody else who's watching this. This is what went through my mind, and this is why I was a bit panicky on the phone. That morning, and I apologise for this, I had a slightly loose bowel movement. One of those where somebody fits a multi-directional splatter bottom attachment to your bum and you do a bit of a splattery pan job. Now, I had loads of editing to do, and I needed to get a video edited, and I needed to film the Bella video. So I knew I was going to be really up against time that day. So I came immediately downstairs, got coffee, cracked straight on with work. So when you phoned and you were outside, I knew that I had a dirty lavatory, and I was terrified that you were going to ask to use the loo. This is God's honest truth. That's why I panicked. And I would have been mortified if you'd have said, oh, can I just use your loo? Perfectly natural request. You've driven an hour to get here. It was morning. You've probably had tea or juice or coffee or a combination of all three. And you might well have fancied a moment of urination. And I would have been fucking mortified sending you up to an unclean lavatory. And that was the panic. And now I'm panicking that the situation could repeat itself. So, you know, as everybody is more than welcome here, and I will do my very best to make you feel at home. And unlike poor old Matt, I will feed you. Again, that's an advance notice thing. If I know you're coming, I'll make sure there's food available and beverages of choice and whatnot. But above all, I will make sure that the lavatory is spotless. Now, the lavatory was going to be cleaned. Of course, it was going to be cleaned. I wouldn't leave it dirty for a complete day. I just wanted to get the stuff edited first, and then I thought I might need a second go before lunch, and I was going to do the videos, have lunch, and then clean the lavatory when I was in my bathroom phase. I have a bathroom phase where I'm preparing for work, and that would have been the point at which I would have cleaned the lavatory before a shower. But I hadn't reached that point yet, and that was why I panicked. Everybody welcome, but advance notice please, and let's work it around socials so that we can all meet each other. And if you're a channel member, you can have first go on the playground. Not the moves, says Liz. A pair of legs was enough this morning. Who had a pair of legs? Oh, did you watch that video this morning? Yeah, sorry for that. B&B will fill his street with cars. It looks like that. We're going to be like Thelma and Louise losing our channels together. What a way to go. Oh, dear. Oh, hello. Why is it only bing-bonging over there? Why am I not getting it here? Don't know. It would be good to meet up at some point, get some footage, absolutely. One of my ideas, I've told you about before loads of times, is that when we have a social, we can have a filming social where we'll meet up in the same place at the same time, and we'll go. I've got in mind Longston Edge, which is an incredibly scenic part. Some of you will know it, probably. But if you don't, Longston Edge is amazingly scenic, absolutely beautiful. On a warm day, there's nothing like it. But it's a long old lane climbing up to the top. Sorry, I've just heard voices. Somebody's annoyed the ghosts. Did anybody else hear that? Or just me? Anyway, on this lane, there are 3 or 4 massive lay-bys. And I do mean massive. I mean, one of the lay-bys you could fit like 20 cars in. And they're almost always empty. So we could rock up there for a social. And we could mingle, we could do the meet and greet, I could cook some momos, but for those of us with YouTube channels, we could get a load of footage in a relatively short time. So, we could have 20-minute drives in each other's cars or with each other and all get a load of different footage for our own channels in one hit, as well as meeting people that might have up until now only been virtual friends. I just remembered, this might not be my idea. This might have been Simon's idea. In fact, I think it was. And when he was here for that day, I think he came up with it. And I've now just tried to claim it as my own, but I didn't do it on purpose. Whoever's idea it was, I think it's a jolly good one. I'll try and keep the streetwise clean and mobile in case anybody wants to film it. Excellent. GPS's first girlfriend was 9 years old. Yeah, but they're not real girlfriends. I mean, I had a Welsh girlfriend when I was that age or a little bit older. We kissed behind the factory. Ooh, now then. Was it a thing when you were kids? Now, I don't know if it was a Welsh thing, but there used to be, Welsh girls, there was an actual song. There was a theme song for this thing. And the idea was, I've frozen my wine. The idea was that oh God, look at that. Look, oh, I've got a little wine turd. Can you see it? Oh, come out, little turd. There we go. Yeah, so the Welsh girls, bless them, you know, all young and naive and innocent, they would charge you a penny for a kiss, and it was a thing. It wasn't like a behind the bike sheds thing. It was an actual thing. There was a song for it and everything, and the girls would sing the song, and if they wished, and if they had the penny, then the boy would give the penny to his girl of choice, and he would get to kiss her. And I think that's a wonderful childhood thing. I think it's lovely and charming and innocent. And I like to think that all of those lovely young girls have grown up to be very, very happy and successful prostitutes. Yeah. Now then. Oh, right, well, Simon and Matt are both going to try and stop their cars from falling apart. Most of my daughters are exams. Most of my daughter's exams are open book. How is that an exam? I agree with you, it's not. My final year at school, I never turned up and never took any exams, says Jimmy Quinn. That'll teach him. Matt says, I was useless at school, but apparently I've got a decent IQ. Not sure if that was just a sympathetic result though. I can tell you about a little bit about IQ tests because I had to take a shed load of them. I was identified in early childhood as being a gifted child, unusually gifted. And I had to sit through hundreds and hundreds of, well, not hundreds, but a lot of IQ tests and various other tests. And apparently I was gifted. And I was supposed to be sent to a special school, which my parents were very happy about until they discovered that it was a boarding school. And they decided entirely correctly, in my view, that given some of the issues that had happened when I was growing up, the loss of my brother, family stuff, etc., and so on and so on and so on, they thought that I wouldn't cope emotionally with boarding school. And they were absolutely 100% correct. So I never went to that school. But for various reasons throughout my life, mostly to have competition with my father, who annoyingly had a higher IQ than me. We used to take IQ tests for fun, and I can tell you that your IQ will vary quite considerably, or can vary quite considerably, depending on the actual test that you take. Because, well, back then anyway, I don't know about now, there isn't a standardized IQ test, they vary. And depending on the individual makeup of the IQ test, my score will vary. So, and it depends if there's a preponderance of numerical based questions or more literary based questions, i.e. using text. I don't do so well, I don't do badly with any of them, but the ones that are numerical or numeracy based, I will do less well with. So if there's a preponderance of those, I will score lower. Now, from memory, and I did used to have this insane competition with my father, because I thought I was cleverer than my father. I wasn't. My father was a genius, a very flawed genius, but intellectually, indisputably a genius. And I never really beat him, but I always tried, which means that we did a lot. I remember there was a question on one test that he got, and even when he explained it to me, I can remember the test because I remember what he scored. He scored 169 on this test, and even when he explained the answer to me, I still couldn't understand it. It was a numerical base, and I couldn't get my head around it. My father was an amateur astrophysicist and used to understand all of some extraordinary things, which were all balderdash to me. But as I say, my scores did vary wildly. From memory, the lowest I've ever scored is 147, which was significantly lower than my norm, and the highest was 163. I normally, if you took a median or a mean, then my average was normally high 150s, for what it's worth, which is absolutely sod all. Hang on, it's jumping about a bit. I tried to do well, said Simon, but my best mate was the type that could piss about and still pass. They're annoying, aren't they? I'm ashamed to say I was one of those. GPS didn't do very well at school. He was average, but at Buxton College, I got 13 distinctions, 2 credits and 1 pass in my 7061 and 7062 exams for catering. Well done, you. KKC says most of the successful people in life failed at school. A lot of truth in that. And vice versa, the obverse is also often true, that people who were very successful at school, like me, were utterly hopeless in real life. In my defence, my school had too many spoilt brats that couldn't be controlled by the teachers or staff, so I didn't really get the attention I often required. I don't doubt that for a second, Matt. Certainly in the secondary modern system, to which I was subjected after my father became poor, that was very, very much the case. Fortunately, by the time that I attended secondary modern high school, I was effectively self-learning. So I wasn't hampered too much, but what you say is undoubtedly correct. Schindler, Birmingham Central Library. Yeah, that's the one. That was a fabulous place, wasn't it? Fabulous place. I remember meeting for a date on the steps there. That was nice. My brother was hungover for most of his GCSEs and got 6 grade A's and 3 grade B's. Some people are just annoying. In after-school life, it turned out I lacked confidence and not competence. Again, I'm sure that's true for a hell of a lot of people. And it's very easy to not be confident at school, or to have what little confidence you have knocked out of you. And I sympathise with anybody who's been in that situation. And one thing I've certainly learnt in my adult life is that to not be academic, or to not be academically qualified, almost never equates to being stupid. Not in real life, not when it comes down to it. Academia is something very, very different, and it's a bit of a different kettle of halibut. My English teacher at school was in a band called Blues in the Black. Don't know why I still remember that. Oh yeah, a lot of people empathising with Matt. Boaty's Baps available for a tenner. Buy one, get one free. I think Boaty needs a talk show. I think it suits him. Bloody hell. You're not getting enough punishment with this. Oh, dinner news. I had 2/3 of a bottle of red with a doner kebab chaser for dinner tonight. You said you weren't going to have dinner, Simon. You said you had a very substantial lunch and you weren't going to have dinner tonight, and you had a doner kebab, you dirty boy. Tonight I am having, what am I having? Oh, I know what I'm having. I'm making Chu Chow chili chicken chow mein tonight. That's what I'm having. Wasn't kind of the plan for today, but that's what's going to happen, and I'm quite excited about that. And tomorrow for lunch, oh, I've got Momo. It's Momo lunch tomorrow. Best lunch of the week. Can we talk about bikes? He's droning on a bit. Yeah, I'll do that. Oh, now we're talking about bikes. Kona MTB, probably for sale. Really light, but too small for me. I remember the Kona. I worked in a bike shop for a short while called On Your Bike in Birmingham. Can't remember the name of the circus, but it was on the street, and then there was an underpassy bit, and I used to ride to work. It was after I retired. It was actually after I retired through injury, but I used to ride there from Redditch on a 69-inch fixed on an all-chrome 1960 Carlton track, which is one of the few bikes I wish I still had. So I was still fit-ish, and obviously the injury hadn't entirely stopped me from riding a bike. It just stopped me from properly training and properly competing. Because yeah, I did that for a while. Going up Gorkard Hill out of Redditch, I always used to get overtaken by a pink 911, and I would always catch it back going through King's Heath when he got caught up in the dreadful traffic. King's Heath is like the rectum of Birmingham, except King's Kebabs was in King's Heath, and that was the best kebab shop of all time, apart from Charlie's in Bromsgrove. I bought Sainsbury's mustard. They do it in Waitrose as well. Oh, do they? I bought mine from Sainsbury's Redditch, but it was well hidden. Well, you have it, that's a thing. When I was 16, I rode my rally racing bike from Marple Bridge to Blackpool for charity. The trials of a YouTube star, juggling a running bum and video editing. Oh yeah, it's living the celebrity lifestyle, isn't it? Wrong hole. Wrong hole, Vicar. Oh dear. Oh dear, that's stuck in between floors now. That's going to put an end to the until it clears. I've seen the lavatory videos. Is an outside drain available? Do you remember rally chopper bikes? Oh, that's hurting now. Oh dear. Excuse me. Simon, you piss taker. Yeah, I know what meeting people. Oh dear. Yeah, quite right, GPS. Nobody likes a smart ass, Simon. Frozen wine again, yes. A penny for a kiss, how much for second base? Wasn't a thing, mate. Didn't happen. These were good chapel girls. A kiss for a penny was one thing. There was no fuddle-duddling with any form of what's-its. Lost my virginity to a Welsh girl. I think she was from Holyhead. Oh, that's nice. I never kissed anyone at school, says Simone. Another one, lots health review. What's going on? We used to have a gifted teacher with big boobies in art, and I loved it when she used to lean over and teach me how to draw. We all have memories like that. I've told you about my French teacher who used to wear a beautiful lacy bra and a very tight blouse, and that used to fascinate me when I was at school, and still fascinated me when I slept with her about 6 years after leaving school. That was nice. Another one, health review. Oh, mild man was as clever as anything. His math skills were insane. Yeah, mine too. I had a girlfriend in infant school, apparently, according to my mum. She was a dinner lady there. Who, your mum or your girlfriend? That's not clear, Simon. Sadly, no matter how intelligent you are, we still tend to live in a who you know, not a what you know world, says Matt. Oh, it's coming up now. I had a rally budgie for my first bike. I loved it. Anybody remember a television programme called Budgie, starring Adam Faith, I want to say? Dad got a 3rd in his law degree, same year as I got a 2-1 in B-Med Sci that I was doing. Go me. I get the dad thing there. Oh, Mustard had an IQ test when he was 7 because he was experiencing some very unusual worries. See, there's a story there. We were talking about this today. One of these days, I'm going to film Mustard talking about the life that you don't know. The hidden Mustard that isn't Mustard at all. The Mustard when he used to be just Paul. Because that is his real name, you know. Paul. Say it with me. Paul. But of course we know and love him as Mustard. Simone says, I'm not well educated. I never did well at school and I never had a plan for my future. I grew up in a poor family, but I'm not stupid. Quite right too. Quite right too. As I say, you know, growing up in poverty, which I did latterly, quite extreme poverty. No, that's not fair. No, we were poor. Probably officially below the poverty line, but yeah, not utter poverty. And yeah, being ill-educated is, you know, no sign of lack of cleverness. Still there between floors. A lot of the time it's a sociological issue, not an intellectual issue. Is it dinner if the last time you went to bed was Saturday night and you've been awake and grazing on food ever since? You've not been to bed since Saturday night. What have you been up to, Liz? On your bike, which radio sports presenter in the Midlands used that? What's his name? Ed, not Ed China, not Ed Reardon, not Ed Gamble. Was it the WM guy? He used to do that current affairs complaints type program as well, where if you had a problem you could ring in and he'd try and get it solved for you. Can't remember his name, but I'm sure he did sports as well. Adam Faith, great in McVicker with Roger Daltrey. The Seeds of Mustard, new series title. Yeah, I'll do that. Wrong hole, that's probably what Wetleg said to the truck. Sometimes the wrong hole is the right hole. But Wetleg definitely wouldn't agree with that. Oh, studying and then the day job today, hence not been to bed. Right, that is it, my loves. I'm only supposed to be doing an hour. I've done best part of 2. Thank you very much for your company. Thank you for bearing with me on what's been a bit of a difficult day. Can't get rid of this now. Thank you for cheering me up and taking my mind off things. And remember that for all of us, tomorrow is a brand new day with new opportunities and, you know, every morning we have the good fortune to wake up. We also have the option whether to choose to make it as good a day as possible. So let's all do that. Let's all hope that we are blessed to wake up in the morning. Let's all make the best of it. Let's all tune in for Mustard's live stream tomorrow night, where he will be betting his ass for £10 to go. Good point. Today is a new day at 1 o'clock in the morning, but we'll count it as when we get up, shall we? Brand new day of ass showing, yeah. Do give Mustard your wholehearted support, as I know you will, as will I when I return from my work. Tomorrow at some point there'll be videos coming out, you know, back on track now. At some point I will show you poor old Wetleg's poorly bottom. You know, it's a very imperfect bottom now, but, you know, could be worse. I still had fun driving her home, and, you know, a flawed bottom doesn't make her less of a beautiful person, and it doesn't make being in her a less beautiful and exciting experience. That's a nice thing. Stay safe and be excellent to each other. That's a jolly good thing. We're just asking Mustard what time his live stream is starting. Oh, thank you, KKC. Yeah, you know, we all have bad days. You know, poor old Steve's family. Yeah, there's a family that are grieving. He's probably quite annoyed at being dead, if that's a possible thing, or, you know, maybe he's not. Maybe he's experiencing bliss and rapture and is at the bar having a fag and meeting all of his previous pets that have toddled over the Rainbow Bridge. 10 o'clock tomorrow night, my loves, for Mustard live, showing his skinny white arse for £10 a time. Do me a favour, right? Nobody give £10 before 10:30. I want to watch that live. So save it. No £10 before 10:30. I don't want to have to watch that on catch up, because it probably won't be on catch up. His channel will have been taken down by that point. Oh, bloody hell. Right, that's it. Let's go. Thank you, my lovelies, and a jolly good night to you. There you go. I'm not dancing, that would be disrespectful. See if I can wash it down some more way. Check out the chow mein pan. I love this pan. My favourite pan. Gonna be getting some action. Oh, I thought I wouldn't do that. Good night, my loves. Stay safe, stay warm, take care, and grab every little bit of joy that you can from tomorrow. And I'll see you tomorrow night.